Welcome back, baseball fans, to this elimination video, eliminating the Colorado Rockies. They had a better year. Batting average rose, but so did the earned run average. Record got improved. They were 16-23 years ago, so just 6 under 500. 6-game improvement, just a game under 500. Scored 172 runs, gave up 187. Fought a tough series against the Pirates, didn't hit enough home runs in that series, and frankly, in 36 games, they hit 45 homers. For most teams, that would be a good number. For this team, they need more than that. As incredible as that is to say, but they got to get a ton of home runs. You have to lead all of major leagues in homers, and they may have done that, but not by enough. Looking at these stats, full-timers Don Money and Rick Monday had fine years at the top there. And then you have Gagliano and Costco, utility players asked to play full-time decently. Rick Auerbach underachieved. He's got a 344 card. And then beyond that, it starts to get ugly. If you're going to have a bad batting average, give me some good on base. Joe List did that. So that was an effective 219 because he had a 405 on base. Probably should have played more. And we'll tell you who for as we drift down to the bottom there. Yeah. Dave Kingman had a just, if you could even imagine a guy hitting 70 points below his batting average. Incredibly, Kingman got 20 hits on the season. 6 of those were homers. A 191 on base. Terrible. One of the reasons why the Rockies just faded in the at the end of their season there. Pitching performance highlighted, this was the guy in the elimination game versus the Pirates. He pitched 3 1/3 scoreless innings, but was yanked before his 5th inning of relief. And frankly, you just have to start utilizing all the bullpen pieces, as Corkins' card is not as good as Ed Watts or Jim Strickland's. But look at the year he put together. No decisions, no saves. But 25 innings eaten, 9 hits, 7 walks, 19 strikeouts, 0.72, 64 cents. That's one of the best relief performances we've had in an anonymous role, under the radar, one of the most under the radar successful performances for a team that had a 477 earned run average, making it even more incredible. Imagine if he didn't exist. This would be a team that was eliminated with the worst record in the sport. So, Alphonse Morris did a quality job. Very good job. 232 earned run average. Eddie Watt was their very good closer. Strickland, an effective reliever, but he lost the final game of their season in his relief effort. He didn't get it out, allowed Pittsburgh to score the winning run to end the Rockies season. Drago had a decent year until he went into face Pittsburgh, and they knocked him around a little bit. Unfortunately, Ron Reed, as your ace, your number 1 starter, just got knocked around way too much to be competitive for this team. Ultimately, I think you're pretty happy at 18-19, frankly. When you look at all the ups and downs, there's a lot of bad downs there. Kingman, Reed, Mike Cork is the really only successful pitcher there. And let's take a look now at your Colorado Rockies. And we're going to see the players they bring back. And fortunately, they're going to bring back 9 hitters and 3 pitchers, beginning with Rick Auerbach. Now, perfect example of what you need to do when you build an expansion team. That is, find a short sample of success like this and let it stick around for 4 years. And the reason why is because, the Dodgers are protecting other players, you see. They can't protect everybody, so they lose this guy. And honestly, there's just not enough of these guys out there to give the Rockies an unfair advantage over the traditional Major League teams. So yeah, this will be a 4-year card. Can play it anywhere. Sitting at DH right now. Andy Etchebarren, that's a nice catcher. If you didn't have a platoon, you could have him be your everyday catcher. 120 at-bats for the Angels. Another fringe player. Here's the Kingman card that underachieved. If you can imagine that. 36 home runs and a 231 average, and he hit 154 with it. Looking more closely, you got the homers here on 8 and 7 plus that. You got a little bit more on base there, but you get the walks there. Hey, dude's a B bunter and a C stealer. Maybe utilize that. By the way, he's a 4.25 at first. That doesn't help. You know, I don't know. Maybe make him your DH. Don't use him so much, maybe. I don't know. Gagliano had a fine year. A 290 card, he hit 290. Again, 69 at-bats. You're going to see that often. Frankly, all the extra player guys you want to see play more, and an everyday player like Kingman you want to see play less. Again, anywhere you want to put him. Here's your lock at third, Don Money, 1. So he's going to be at third base for the entirety of this card. They're going to continue with Money. Money's going to continue with the Rockies as one of their foundational players. If you didn't play your entire career with one franchise, an expansion team might take you away. And Money was a Philly and a Brewer, and the Rockies have taken him away, along with Rick Monday, who played for multiple teams, as we'll see in a moment. Your shortstop, this guy did okay. He actually, he hit 328 with this card. So that's ridiculous. So he overachieved, was a 3 shortstop, which makes him the best defensive middle infielder, modestly, 329. Has power. Don't dismiss a left-handed hitting shortstop with power in this era. That's a good value. Plus over here, it's very good if you put him in a platoon role, where he probably didn't have a platoon role with the Yankees. As you see, the 470 plate appearances, played 2/3 of the time. So there's Jim Mason, decent member of the infield. And here's Rick Monday. He's your center fielder, he's your 1, and he'll play for the Rockies the entire time. That's because he was a Cub. He played for Oakland, he played for the Dodgers. And the Rockies, once they got a hold of him, they said, you're not going anywhere. We need stability. So he'll play a long time with this team. Eventually, they'll get that Blue Monday card of 1981, which has a ridiculous number of home runs on it. It looks kind of like this, but there's home runs all over the place. Jim Lytle and Andy Costco can platoon in right field. Though, you could make Costco an everyday player. Lytle you can't. Lytle brings you the defense in right field, a left-handed hitter with power, which is something this team covets. A little bit of walks, just the 1 there. Costco, you could just make him a full-time outfielder and just say, I know he hits under 200 against righties, but look at all the home runs. And just go with that. I mean, what else do you want? I mean, you're the expansion team. You got to struggle a little bit, so Costco could play every day, or he could play in a platoon with Lytle. But that's a potent offense. If you hit those homers, got to hit them. And you got to hit them and hope a guy or 2 walks previous to those homers. Just 3 pitchers, beginning with Sam McDowell. Late in his career with the Yankees in '73, he puts together this season. And frankly, the walks against righties are, you can live with this. I mean, this is a very livable card, frankly. 92% as well. That suggests even better performance. No home runs, an out here. Now, against lefties, that's a lot of walks. But you can survive this, so it's a good card for McDowell. Fitzmaurice got the lone victory in their series versus Pittsburgh. Quality starter 6, also out of Kansas City with Dick Drago. 73, 8-3, 283 ERA, 89 innings. Nice card for Fitzmaurice. And another lefty, Jim Merritt. So you've got McDowell and Merritt. So that's good that if you have 3 pitchers, 2 of them being left-handed helps. You only got to find 1 more in the offseason. Now, this is a card that if you load up with righties, you're going to knock him around. So as a starter, he'll probably get beat up. We protected Jim by putting him in the bullpen where he'd face more left-handed hitters. His overall numbers, 4.05 ERA and 160 innings. This is all a very workable team. It's a very livable team. They have to add 3 batters. And as far as where to find what you need here, well, one thing is you got 3 left-handed batters, so you need 1 more lefty, you would think. At least you've got options. You got plenty of options on where to find offense in the off-season. Pitching, you really don't want to put Merritt in the rotation. Like I said, he's good as a long reliever. But if they can actually get some pitching in Colorado, maybe lower the team ERA down to like 4 or 3 in the high 3s, that might help this team. That might give them a chance at a wild card of 500 or better. So let's take a look as we continue to eliminate the Rockies. We're going to look at the 8 players who have disappeared to see who we keep, who we put on waivers, and who we retire. Let's check that out. All right, baseball fans, we're going to begin here with Terry Crowley, a longtime pinch hitter. His 72 card, high level of participation, kind of the highest, 283 plate appearances. That is a career high. 283, 231, 724 OPS. So he's on and off as a pinch hitter throughout the decade, where Strat may or may not make the card. If you want to put him on waivers, he has to have a card in 73. Frankly, I don't know if I really want to keep him, meaning that you could probably find him on the waiver wire, or a comparable left-hander. You see the batting averages and the OPSs, 728 and 75. But otherwise, probably not a guy you want to keep. Can you get waivers in 73? For Crowley, has to have a Strat card for Baltimore in 73. Look at the roster sheet. You can find these at superds.tripod.com. Baltimore, Terry Crowley, 73 Crowley. Does he have a 73 card? We look at the extra players down here, and there it is. So Crowley's got a card in 73, so we can give him waivers. Could be a keeper as well, but let's be ambitious. Let's assume we could find better. Moving on, the next player is Dave Duncan. He would get a World Series ring for your 72 Oakland A's, I believe. Would be a pitching coach for that Oakland team as well in the 80s. Played for Baltimore. Oakland, Cleveland, Baltimore. So he was an all-star in 71, but he had 19 home runs in 72. Then he comes the 4 remaining years of next year's timeline. We know in 73 he'll have a card. 728 OPS for that card is reasonable. For a catcher with 17 home runs, and plus the options here, home run wise, average is terrible. But 728, he's going to increase his OPS, so we're going to keep him. We have Andy Etchebarren, we know, but worst case, we can make a deal now. Let's make Mr. Duncan a keeper, or a trade chip, but having that flexibility. Moving on, it's Joe Liss. Liss had a intriguing OPS card, a series of cards. A guy who could draw some walks. So you see the walks of 72, 30 and 140 at-bats, 380 on base. Of a 444 on base in 75, 400 on base in 76. Could draw walks in a small sample size. In 73, they give him a chance with 286 plate appearances, the most of his career with the Twins. It's 245, 325, 403, 728. Workable card in 73 for the Twins. Let's take a look at it. See if that card exists from Minnesota. There it is. Let's also make him a keeper. Both of these players are a little bit better than Terry Crowley. who we could still make a keeper if we really wanted to. Moving on now, we have 5 pitchers to examine, beginning with Ron Reed. Ron Reed, 66 to 84, long career. He'll play it all with the Rockies. I mentioned before, guys who travel around a lot have a tendency to be picked up by expansion teams and held on to. He was a Brave, a Cardinal, and a Philly, and a White Sox at the very end. And the Rockies have stepped in and said, we need him. We need his long career to give us some stability. So he'll be used in starting and relief options. Is a starting pitcher through 75, then he goes to the pen after that. We've got 3, 4, 5, and 6. So we could transition him to the bullpen or leave him in the rotation. Either way, he's a keeper because we have 74 and 75 are good years. He could pitch on the rotation. He could pitch in the bullpen in 76 with a great earned run average for the Phillies. He really takes off out of the Philly pen. So he's a keeper, Ron Reed. Excellent news. Great news for the Rockies, at least in this division. A very winnable division where year to year it's hard to repeat because you've got so many players coming and going with short careers and extra player cards. So you've got 3, the first 4 look pretty good. Even Crowley could be a keeper. Next up, Dick Drago. He'll stick around. He has a decently long career. Pitches through the decade, through KC, Boston, I think California, Baltimore. He's got some longevity here. Boston, California, Baltimore, Boston, and Seattle at the end. So he'll pitch through. 73, not so much with the Royals anymore. 74 with Boston. They try him out in the rotation and he does okay. Eventually he goes to the bullpen. So both Ron Reed and Drago are almost sort of a copycat futures. They go as a starter as long as they can, then they fill in capably as a long reliever. So both dudes will come back, and you've got flexibility. You know, I mean, frankly, for an expansion team, this is a lot of flexibility in roster building. All these guys are tradable, keepable, and you don't have to dig, you know, trying to fill out the roster. So they're in really good shape, this Colorado. Next up, the big story of Mike Corkins. We saw those incredible stats in the short sample size. A sub-1 earned run average. Would be the best performance of his career, what we just saw. In a short career, he was one of the expansion team, quadruple A, you want to call it, pitchers added to baseball in the 4-team expansion of 1969. 17 innings. And then 70, still not very good. Looking at the career whips, 72 was the cherry pick year. This is a guy to go on waivers, though. And frankly, it was kind of cool to get the cool little Mike Corkins story in our league, because otherwise he would have been an afterthought. But let's get him on waivers. He can still pitch. If he's got 122 innings for the Padres, that should qualify him for waivers. We'll take a peek and make sure of that. San Diego Padres pitchers, Mike Corkins. There he is. We can give him waivers. Have to do better than that. I know it's Colorado, but you're trying to find some way to just get a little bit better. That can get you this weak division. And 2 more pitchers after this. Jim Strickland. We may have maxed him out. This is a Strat-O-Matic bonus player, as you will see. Has a very short career, but Strat-O-Matic was very kind to us by making 2 of his cards in 71 and 72. Look at the innings pitched. Thank you, Strat-O-Matic Baseball. We really needed these cards because we're trying to find left-handed pitching for our league, and we got to use this guy twice. But now it's finally at the end. he just didn't last long enough. With just 10 more innings pitched, his career is over. Thank you, Jim Strickland, for I think we actually had 5 years out of him. And actually, we definitely pitched more than his 77 career innings over a period of 5 years in my carryover league. So we saw more of Jim Strickland than Major League Baseball did. So that's a cool little story. Jim Strickland will now be retired. First of 7 guys to be retired. That's great news. And then Eddie Watt. Yeah, so they got a World Series winner. Edward Watt. I think he did. Gotta make sure we have a 66 Watt, because we know he didn't get a 69 ring. 66, Baltimore. There you go, yeah, of course. So he's got the 66 ring with Baltimore. 69 he doesn't. 70 he does. So yeah, he's got some rings. He's got some hardware there. Great player to get to a young Colorado team with this card. He's got a couple years left. One in Baltimore, one in Philadelphia. This Baltimore card of 73 should exist. So that's a definite keeper. Let's check it out. Going back to Baltimore for 73. For Ed Watt. There, oh, he's in the extra players. That's kind of interesting. Here he is down here. Very interesting that he's not a regular player, only an extra, but doesn't really matter in our league. He is a keeper. So, they have 5 guys they want to keep. Of course, they can't keep that many. Good situation to have, so they can make some deals and improve this team. 5 keepers, 2 waivers, 1 retirement. So what they have to do is trade one of these keepers to a team that is short of that number, and then for a retired player. When you're making that deal, you of course offer one of your players who you already have on your roster and improve upon. So you're trading a 1-for-1 player looking for improvement. Players to improve would be, well, Dave Kingman for one. I like to say get Kingman off the team, but he's like the poster child for what a Colorado Rocky looks like, so you're probably not going to get him off the team. I'm not sure who you'd get off this team. Fitzmaurice did well. McDowell did well. You could move Merritt for a better lefty. You obviously want to hold on to Auerbach. You probably could move Echeverry because you want to get Dave Duncan, you know. So, yeah, well, wait and see what the Rockies decide to do, but it's a good situation to have. I mean, they can improve. You can see the stability is there to get a 3-year improvement. They were 7 under 500 last year, a game under this year, and played the Pirates tough. Next year is the Rockies' time to get over 500 and compete for a wild card playoff spot. That's it today for eliminating the Colorado Rockies. I hope you enjoy the analysis. We'll see you next time.